Thursday, and you know what that means. Welcome to Max Wrestling episode 491. This is your captain speaking with the one we call El Jefe, Moses Marquez. Speak his name, and he appears. Here to discuss every single twist and swerve in pro wrestling.
That's right, we are 9 away from 500, and I can't wait for it. Coming up tonight, NXT has more cameos than Michael Jackson's Liberating Girl music video. Which, if you counted, you might get lost in the number, how high it is. Anyway. Mami returns, and she's coming for Liv Morgan's behind. How you doing? MJF and Will Ospreay absolutely clash. Absolutely clash. And we hear from Travis, the Coach Anderson, with a major update about the Dual Championship. And stay tuned for the end of the show for another song reveal from the Captain's EP, which is released tomorrow, by the way. You got to check this out. It's already smashing up our YouTube. But speaking of that, make sure you're subscribed right here on the YouTube, Max Wrestling YouTube. Follow us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is you get your podcasts. And, of course, check out the beautifully done website, nice and refreshed, maxwrestlingnet.weebly.com for all your links and a whole bunch more.
Yes, we're over 300 on that first song. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah.
And there is many more bangers to come, I promise. But before we get to anything else, let's start with some fun stuff, because some people think a spinaroonie is a type of pasta. And as a result, this is shit Mark say.
Serve me up a plate.
I'm going to tweet me and my friend Mark. We're going to stop watching.
You're a whiny bitch.
Oh boy, I kind of don't want to get into some of these.
Oh no.
Where'd it go? All right.
Typical Thursday.
Oh wait, that's no. Let me get the first one I saw first, because.
Oh no.
All right, there you are. This is just pure stupidity.
When you know it's bad.
Like we just said, MJF and Will Ospreay clashed. It was an hour-long, long-ass match on Dynamite last night.
Shit. Great.
John says, I'm not going to lie, both of these matches are brutal to watch, but at least one is shorter than the other. He then places Jimmy versus Jay over MJF versus Will Ospreay. No. I'll admit, It felt long. I know it was an hour time limit, but it felt like a long match. I'll admit that. But Jimmy and Jay was boring as fuck. Nothing happened.
Actually, we've been shitting on it for fucking months, because that was at Mania, no?
Yeah, that was a Mania match with a big build-up.
The Brother Mania match, another one to chalk up that just never lives up to the height of fucking Brett Nolan, obviously. But this thing slapped. I mean, that's what the kids say these days, right? This thing slapped. It was off the chain. We used to say it's off the chain.
Yeah.
It's a banger. This was an absolute banger. I'm literally going back and forth. I'm pretty convinced to myself that this is not only MJF's best match, but maybe even fucking Will Ospreay's. And I say that, knowing the kind of matches he's had with Naito, with Okada, Tanahashi, the legends of New Japan, if you will, because this match gave me New Japan feel. But I got a lot of like new sports entertainment, something I'm not really used to with AEW, maybe. This felt next level. Even though you've seen these dudes on TV, one's international champion, the whole shabiggity bang. I didn't know Max could go 60 minutes. How you doing there? What's his fucking lady's name? Alicia Atut.
Alicia.
She knows she can go 60 minutes. And the stamina, first and foremost, because it's not first. Let's just keep that funky. It ain't easy. He had the mask on afterwards. He literally collapsed. He collapses to get the pin. Stupendous. Very shocking, though, as well. Very shocking on the result. I really did not think that they were going to have Will drop the belt. And if they did, I was thinking they would wait until All In. I know it's like, oh, you really don't want him to lose in the UK, but
I'm guessing he wins it back on home turf.
Maybe. Probably.
But to pick like one of WWE's worst ever matches, not just worst Mania matches. Sorry, Jimmy, Jay. Love the Usos, love Jay, but
Love
the
y'all.
match sucked, and everybody admits it sucked. To say that was better than that hour-long match last night just because you don't like long matches or you found it boring because they just kept going and going and going, whatever. There's far better examples you could have used.
Oh,
That's just blind hating. And I'm pretty sure this guy only watched Dynamite just for this match because I looked on the profile and the only tweets from Dynamite were this match. And it was just, is this match over yet? How is this match still going? This is boring.
I cannot say I don't want to. I'm trying to adult this lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be the bigger guy, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, you're just a goddamn hater. I can understand. I can relate that. Yeah, dude, a 60-minute match is long for sure.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah, it's exactly not for everybody. And this one definitely felt the whole 60. You know what I mean? There's some matches like the Okada Omegas that went, 60, 75 minutes that didn't feel like it.
That was the end.
This one, I don't want to say it dragged, but it made you feel every single little bit of it, which added to the story.
Yeah.
So, and for those who are unconditioned, let's go with that one. That's the nice way of putting it. For those who are unconditioned for a lengthy 60-minute match, they're going to feel this type of way, the very reactionary way. It's too long. I don't how can I stay invested? Watch it. I guarantee you, if you were watching it, you would have remained invested because this thing was hot. And then on top of that, as I spoke about last week, and how crowd affects everything going on, this crowd was in love. This every 5 or 6 minutes there was a chant. There was a "This is awesome" chant. I want to say we got to fight forever chant.
Yep.
It was just when the crowd is that invested over one guy. I mean, hey, again, different. What do they say? Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. Like Kenny and Brian didn't feel like an hour either. That was a banger too. I think it didn't help that this was for a mid-card title, and we also didn't expect it to go long.
I don't think we expected the title change either.
I didn't expect a clean finish.
That's all of those things. I think that all adds to no, and that's the funny reality of it all. Is that we didn't expect Will Ospreay to lose, and then he loses. We really didn't expect fucking MJF to go 60 minutes. We got a lot of things we never expected, and we got him on a Dynamite.
Yeah, granted, it was a bit of a milestone. It was episode 250.
250.
But yeah, it's long matches aren't for everybody. But don't compare it to a stupid match like that. It's just a dumb example. And in the UK, John is slang for a toilet, so very appropriate name, John. You're talking right out of your name.
Look at that! I'm gonna hit the John.
Oh yeah, it's also slang over there.
Oh no, trust me, we bring your slang over. Don't trip.
Okay, geez, this next one, I knew this was coming when I saw Darby Allin descend from the rafters last night.
Yes.
Somebody had to bring it. Well, I mean, Sean Ross Sapp also, first of all, pointed out that AEW got Martha Hart's blessing for him to do this stunt for obvious reasons, which I think they do every time they do it. I'm pretty sure they did it before Sting did it for the first time, and I don't know how long.
Right.
They always get her permission out of, not a permission, but her blessing out of respect.
As we spoke about, you know what I mean? You can't really tell a widow how to feel. But, at least they're being like, hey, we don't want to be disingenuous or whatever have you. We don't want to know ill will.
Yeah.
Behind. Oh, yeah, sure.
And even though Darby's clearly paying tribute to Sting, and, Sting did it for the first time in years, and they still got her blessing, it was kind of like, I know Sting was doing this before what happened to Owen, but are you cool with us doing it? Whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as soon as I saw Darby coming down, I knew some people were going to get butthurt about it. So, first of all, I agree with your name. We Want Hendry says, Why is this the first time that this came out that they got her blessing? How about the other times? Or Darby hanging upside down during the Anarchy match? Then somebody else pipes in who needs to give up his name because he's got his name as El Jefe.
Hey, yeah, you
No,
goddamn.
hey, no, you ain't. Says
Okay.
Darby would go, "Oh, I'm dying, bro. Quick, set me on fire for the 4 fans. I'm sure they'll pop for someone burning to death." And then we got one more from admitted E-Drone. His name is literally E-Drone and then a bunch of numbers. And if Darby dies doing the stunt, then what? Look, Darby's a daredevil. We know this.
Goodness, are people this thick? Like,
we know Darby's a daredevil, but we also like to believe that they have taken many precautions to do this stunt, especially with their association with Martha Hart.
oh yeah. I mean, again, and this isn't like I'm sure they're overcomplicating like how just a simple drop is. I'm sure they do that for the not only the safety of Darby and even Sting when he did it a couple of times, but again for Martha, yes. Whether those out there, especially in Twitter land, give a shit about how TK or just AEW as a whole is worried about how outsiders would have a perspective on what that is they're doing. You know, they want to get blessing from somebody that had to deal with tragedy over this entire thing. So as far as the why is this the first time we've heard about it? What the fuck does it matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, and it's also not the first time.
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna say it like that as like personally, this is the first I'm ever hearing about it. But in reality, though, what does it matter? Like, how is that? Of what concern is that to you? You know what I mean? I'm sure, I'm sure the respect thing doesn't go very far for you. You don't go looking out for somebody. Oh, hey, you know, I heard that you broke your leg fucking doing a kickflip, or I don't know, whatever. This is just that's obviously not the same thing. But what I'm driving at is why is it like when they go to get blessings on doing spots, does that concern us, the fans? Why do we need to know every little bit of backstage detail? Why does it matter to you who they want to sign off on their stunts? What does that fucking matter?
Yeah. And again, they didn't have to because again, Sting was doing his entrance for a long time before what happened with Owen. And it just took one overlook from the stunt guys or whatever, like, yeah, the clip works, go ahead. For it to be taboo. But it has been performed safely very many times before and after. So it's nice that they got her blessing, but again, it wasn't really. It was Sting's thing. That's why Darby did it.
Exactly.
So just looking for stuff to complain about. Nobody would. These guys wouldn't have said shit if somebody in WWE had done it.
Oh yeah, no, they'd be like, oh, see, look, they probably make fun of Sting. Oh, you see how much easier that is? What?
And then finally, we have WWE Real One, who I think is actually not an E-Drone, but that's his name. Says, I always love the AEW fans are turning people off the product argument. Like, bro, just close Twitter. Good point. Chugs Jericho says, if you don't like watching people masturbate and defecate in public, then don't ride the subway. That's not how this works, Broheim. How about the offenders just stop their disgusting behavior?
I couldn't get over the first line.
You can't compare public indecency to people not liking a product.
Or showing their disgust on on social media. That's different.
I mean, I complain every week that I got to listen to fucking Mercedes Moné talking to a microphone because her voice annoys me. And it's easy enough to just skip the segment or mute the fucking volume.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to expect somebody to go, hey, Mercedes, you got to stop cutting promos because this one guy doesn't like you doing it.
Exactly.
And I'm not the only guy, but still.
How long has wrestling been around? Like, to give a Jim Cornette answer, since back in the fucking circus days. It's been around forever, and you know what that's caused? It's caused heat. It's caused people to dislike certain things and like certain things. So what the Why all of a sudden is that different? Why all of a sudden can we not all have a different opinion? Like I don't get that. I don't get it. And yes, it is mad easy to stay off of Twitter. It's mad easy to ignore the others around you, but then doesn't that also take away from what is special about the wrestling, wait for this word, community?
Mm.
The fact that we are able to, on a magnitude of platforms, I'm using big words today. I used big words last week too. The big words are happening. A magnitude of different platforms to express how they feel about the thing that they love. Now, again, we all don't have to agree. You know, they say the same. There's this saying about opinions. You know, they're like assholes. Everybody has one. You know, yours is unique to you, Bubby, and that's it, just to you. Okay, so you take your very unique and special bunghole for yourself, and like let us be on Twitter, bro. Like I get it. Like again, I understand it. Yes, it is fucking that easy to just ignore, but yeah, to compare it to the subway. You can, because the reality is it's called self-control. If you can control yourself from defecating and jerking off on the subway, you should be able to control yourself from posting dumbass shit on the internet.
Also, Chris, you're welcome for a TP for my bunghole being stuck in your head all week. You're welcome.
Very welcome.
I had a similar argument with a guy in the Max Wrestling Facebook group, and I wondered why he was so defensive of Mercedes. Then I saw that he was from Boston, so. When he was like, you know, if you don't like her, just don't watch the product. And it's not that simple because she was feuding with Willow at the time. And I was like, but I'm a big fan of Willow Nightingale and she's been killing it lately. So why should I avoid her segment just because I don't like listening to Mercedes speak?
Thank you. But here's the thing that drove me when you were talking about that just right now. He says, if you don't like it, why do you watch the product? Because the product is more than just her.
Yeah.
It's more than just one person. Just like, and I can refer back to our last one, the internet is meant for more than just one person's opinion.
And guess what? Wrestling is meant for more than just WWE, which some people need to realize.
Hey! What a concept.
More than last week, but that's all the shit we got from the marks this week. Because they're marks and that's the shit they say.
Yes.
All right, so before we get into all the recaps we're doing a full week of recaps this week. We got TNA, AEW, Raw, SmackDown, all the shows, NXT. One hot topic that I came across is WWE stalling with the Wyatt Sicks? And I can, like, they've been doing a lot with Bo.
Yes.
And his, like, split personality, but I can see the point where they debuted with this just rampage backstage. They fucking murdered Chad Gable, and then he came back to life. And it was this terrifying scene from like a horror movie.
Chad 51.
And then you watch it the following week, and it's just like nothing happened. They've moved on from it. Like there's no fallout from that massacre. All we've had is an insight into Bo Dallas, which is cool, and it works for his character. But you know where. It's kind of lost that steam and a little bit of hype from that attack on everybody backstage. Like, there's been no blowback from Triple H because they destroyed the production area?
I mean, you're asking all the right questions. You're making all the right topics. Or you're saying all the right things, I should say. And that's the reality is you took this extremely hot thing. And I do mean extremely hot because, again, the way you came in, the way this was debuted, whether it was meant to be like, just know they're here or whatever the fuck, you went all the way to the top. You did, as many of people have said on a plethora of platforms, maybe not the people that like to bitch a lot, this was a perfect debut. It was perfect. It fit the spooky. It gave everybody the unique characterness. The goosebumps were there. The excitement was there. Anticipation was high. We go, I think, a week without mentioning a damn thing. And then it's, where it's a mention here, a mention there. Bo Dallas this, Bo Dallas that. Now, I'm all for the slow burn. I am. But you cannot, and this is why I made that point in the beginning, you can't come in as hot as you did. As hot as you did. Literally, giving the people what they've been asking for. You gave it to us, literally on a platter. Says, here's the Wyatt Sicks. There you go. Sweet. Well, where'd they go? I don't know. I put them down somewhere. They're around here somewhere, but they're not here. And again, as I keep saying, I get the story you're building with Bo, and we kind of need that for this to help a little bit, to give it that little extra something. But then you shouldn't have fucking came in so hot. You shouldn't have had a massacre in the backstage. Chad Gable should not be stronger than 50 Cent right now. None of these jokes should be a thing. And I mean that. Again, as much as I thought it was a perfect debut, as I love the entire stuff, again, and this is coming from somebody who loved it all. You came in too hot. You came in fifth gear, and you can't just all of a sudden decide to drop it into first and go cruising. You can't
engine don't like that.
No, yeah, exactly. Even the engine doesn't like that. Exactly. You're gonna blow something. You're like, oh, I want to cruise all of a sudden. Like, bro, you're going 100 miles an hour. What do you mean you want to cruise? It doesn't work that way. And now you get is it already stale? Do I even really want this thing? Where is it gonna actually happen? And when it happens, am I gonna care? I think all of it's gonna be I think we're just so ready for it. We're just wanting to come on already that we're lacking patience.
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, like I said, you can't come in this fucking hot and not get us upset.
Now, if I look back at the Wyatt family, the original Wyatt family's debut, obviously they debuted on Raw. They attacked Kane. I think it was only a couple of weeks later we got the Ring of Fire Inferno match at SummerSlam.
Yep.
And then I think that wrote Kane off. And then they went after somebody else. Like, there was no dropping a gear with the Wyatt family. They came in, beat the shit out of Kane, and then they just kept going. And then Bray was coming in every week with these crazy-ass promos. Whereas Bo was just kind of like I did at the start of the year. Bo's been in therapy since attacking the roster.
Yeah,
and then
and again, it as good as it is, where are we going? Yeah,
I think the Bo stuff would be better if we still had some other Wyatt Sicks stuff going on in the background. So, like, there's 4 members?
Yeah.
Behind Bo?
Yeah.
They're not doing shit.
Yeah, fuck all, as we say.
Like, we've seen Nikki Cross once, I think, and she delivered the VHS tape. We haven't seen anything from any of the other 3.
Nope. And as they say, if you're not on television, I don't know you're there.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind, and it is a little bit of both. I think they're doing great with Bo, but at the same time, they're stalling us with the rest of the group and the rest of the gimmick since their debut. We haven't seen anything.
Yeah, no. Stop hiding it. Bring it out. Let this thing shine, goddammit.
They made a similar mistake the first time with Bray's return when he brought in the Uncle Howdy character for the first time. That crazy return at Extreme Rules.
Mm-hmm.
The reaction was insane. And then on SmackDown, he comes out, he cuts a very personal promo, and then he's just kind of going back and forth with LA Knight for a couple of weeks, and we don't really get to see much of Uncle Howdy.
Yeah.
So it seems to be a thing. They bring us this character of Uncle Howdy, and then they kind of take the foot off the gas a little bit.
I wonder, I'm very curious on why. I mean, I if maybe they are trying to somehow tell us that it's not Bo who's Uncle Howdy. I guess. I don't, it's not going to fucking work, but I guess,
No.
You can keep playing it out, have him going to therapy, whatever, have Uncle Howdy showing up, doing shit. But that's the thing. Nobody's showing up. Nobody's doing anything. It's just Bo.
Yeah.
If you want to play that, well, we don't know shit, then you have to be able to show both sides of that, of this faction. You have to be able to show even if it is just like a little, even little bit of shit. Like, say, like, Bo's having like he's talking with the therapist or whatever, and he tells a story about the rabbit, or he's holding a rabbit, and then it goes into the story of the rabbit. Just something to tie the rest of the Wyatt Sicks in with Bo. If that's what you want to do, you want to keep this idea that Bo is just going through it, and he's not Uncle Howdy, but it's all in his head. You know what I mean? It's all in his head. But you have to be able to show both in order to let us know that he's going through it, and you're not just trying to develop Bo.
Yeah, like we're not even getting little Easter eggs like backstage,
Yes.
like a puppet in the corner or something that we had with Bray. We're not even getting that. There's just no mention of the group. Even if you saw the Bo segments, you'd almost forget that the rest of the group were there.
Serious, and I think you nailed it perfectly. Even the little subtle things, like a doll or whatever the hell. If you did that with him in having the talks, having the breakdowns, or whatever, then we get it. Then we understand that you're doing this and you're doing that. But you're literally, this is the Wyatt Sicks over here. This is Bo Dallas, or this is Bo Dallas over here. So
it's been 3 weeks. I think at least we should have had one match where Rowan just comes out and destroys someone.
That or tease it. If you're that worried about having them work in that gimmick or whatever, just fucking tease it. Like, I personally think Nikki Cross is in perfect character right now. This is probably suits her beautifully. Start with her. Start with the woman who's gonna run rampant into somebody's match. What the fuck was that? Oh my God, what the hell was that? And then the next week, build the anticipation. All of a sudden you see Bo talking, and then you see a doll that kind of looks like her chilling. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Or, maybe he's watching the Firefly Funhouse episodes or whatever, rewatching shit. And that's the last character on the screen is the witch, just, again, subtle things to tie it together, because that connection is going away. You're forgetting about it.
Yeah. I think also one of the biggest problems is their main focus is still all Judgment Day, all LIV, all Rhea, all Dom. And they're spread out for the whole 3 hours. And that's your main focus every single week. And don't get me wrong, I love the whole stuff with Rhea and LIV and Dom. And fucking Carlito backstage. It's hilarious.
Man.
But you still can't take your eye off of this hot storyline that you came in with. Strike while the iron's hot, like we always say.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tale as old as time. When the attention-grabbing thing is there, you should allow it to continue to grab the attention at its full force. Put it in a spotlight to get even more attention. And I get it. Yes, Carlito's hilarious. I love that guy right now. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love him. I love everything the Judgment Day is doing. Hell, you brought Jey Uso into the mix now. You know what I mean? Can I tell that fine ass Rhea ass that? I'm like, I fucking died. Okay, I love Jey. I'm loving Jey. But again, that you stretch it, that storyline, that singular storyline, 3 hours. 3 hours. And yes, it's funny. And yes, it kind of gives you a little bit of the attitude DX-ish kind of shit. I get it. But again, that's like, let me give a perfect example, because I literally just set it up in my head. That is like teasing The Undertaker and then going and having DX segments all day long. And then out comes some dude on a bike that looks like The Undertaker. And he's just, I don't know, he ran out of gas. And
Chains.
They haven't. Something, just some bullshit. And then all of a sudden, the DX segment takes over, and you're like, whatever happened to that guy? You have to be able to show the whole thing.
Instead of Undertaker, we just get 3 weeks of Bryan Adams.
Oh, God.
Hey, that guy kind of looks like The Undertaker.
That's fucked.
It's not in your head, so just run for your life. Fight for the right. Walk in fight that we make.
Welcome back to the Cap and Mo Show. This is your captain. He is El Jefe. Make sure you are liking and subscribed on YouTube. Follow us everywhere, and for all the information that you need, go to maxwrestlingnet.weebly.com.
It looks pretty, so you got to head on over there. Still to come tonight, we hear from Travis and Coach Anderson, but first we got to kick off the recaps the way we do best. That starts with the TNA Total Impact. Let's count it down. 3, 2, 1.
Impact in 3, 2, 1.
So, after finding out he was attacked by Frankie Kazarian last week, Nick Nemeth returned the favor in the parking lot until security pulled him away from Kazarian. Izzy Dane from NXT answers Jordan Grace's open challenge for the Knockouts Championship, but Grace naturally retains with the Juggernaut driver. Santino Marella announces a wild card tag team match for tonight's main event. Josh Alexander will team with Joe Hendry to take on Steve Maclin and Moose. More prohibited portal entries as NXT's Charlie Dempsey defeated Zachary Wentz with a bridging German suplex following Miles Bourne showing up to distract Wentz by attacking Trey Miguel. Backstage, the System vow to defeat the Hardys next week, and Moose tells Steve Maclin to stay out of his way in the main event later on. Outside, Charlie Dempsey and Miles Bourne brag about being a step ahead of the Rascals as they're joined by Tavian Heights. Santino Marella arrives on scene and sets up a 6-man tag team match next week against the Rascals and someone from the TNA roster who's familiar with their world. Speedball Mike Bailey defeated Kushida and Jonathan Gresham to become the #1 contender for the X Division Championship as he hits the ultimate weapon on Gresham. After the match, Campaign Singh attacks Speedball as Trent Seven stops Ali from using the steel chair, but he gets blasted himself as Ali beats him down. After a restart following Rich Swann's interference, AJ Francis defeated Rhino to retain the TNA Digital Media Championship in a Philadelphia street fight with a low blow. After the match, PCO attacked Francis and Swann, but ends up getting chokeslammed on the ramp by AJ Francis. Giselle Shaw defeated Tasha Steelz with a running knee. JDC defeated Chris Bay with a top rope leg drop following an assist from the System. And in the main event, Moose and Steve Maclin defeated Josh Alexander and Joe Hendry as Moose hits Alexander with a spear and Steve Maclin follows it up with a KIA before the winning team stare each other down. Well, we're doing all the recaps this week, so now over to Travis, the Coach Anderson, to recap the smack.
Tiffany Stratton's Money in the Bank celebration opens SmackDown and sends a clear warning to 3 of WWE's women's champions. She's then interrupted by Bayley, who warns her about being the first woman to fail a cash-in. Nia Jax also interrupts and confronts Bayley ahead of their SummerSlam match and asks her if she's now known as BBL Bayley. Bayley takes a swing at Jax, but is blocked by Tiffany as they team up on the champion before Michin makes the save with a kendo stick. Nia Jax defeats Michin with the Annihilator, and after the match, Jax and Stratton destroy Bayley. As Jax leaves the ring, Stratton tries to tell the referee she wants to cash in, but says she was just playing when Jax gets in her face. Legado del Fantasma defeats Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin as Angel hits the wing clipper on Crews following a sneaky knee strike from Santos Escobar. In the ring, LA Knight holds a contract to face Logan Paul at SummerSlam. And he reminds us that he pinned Logan to qualify for Money in the Bank. Knight signs the contract but says he knows Logan isn't there. Naomi defeats Blair Davenport with a Bubba Bomb. Yes, Naomi actually won a match. Backstage, Davenport and Naomi shake hands as Chelsea Green and Piper Niven burst out of Nick Aldis's office, angry that he isn't in there. Davenport then attacks Naomi. DIY defeats A-Town Down Under in their rematch with Meat in the Middle to retain the tag team titles. After the match, Waller and Theory argue as Jacob Fatu attacks Theory while Waller runs away. Fatu then attacks DIY before the lights go out and he's joined by the rest of the Bloodline. Sikoa demands acknowledgement before being interrupted by Cody Rhodes. As he addresses their SummerSlam match, he's surrounded by the Bloodline. Cody tries to fight them off, but he gets outnumbered. Randy Orton tries to make the save, but also gets beat down. As Sikoa holds Cody in the ropes, the rest of the group plant Orton through the announce table. Sikoa then spikes Rhodes to end the show. Time to switch brands for AEW as Moses Marquez delivers the Rampage report.
This is Rampage, baby. This is the show that y'all been waiting on. Adrenaline pumping your chest. This is Rampage, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into the Rampage report. So Malachi Black and Brody King, Kings of the Black Throne, defeated the team of Tony Nese and Ariya Daivari as Malachi Black hit a brainbuster on Nese, followed up with the Black Mass. Roderick Strong defeats a Jehu by the name of Ben Bishop with a rising knee strike. The mustache gets sweeter, and the CHP gets a little more jealous every time they see Roderick Strong on television. Ray Phoenix defeats Commander A.R. Fox and Angelico, as Ray Phoenix got a near fall on Fox and then locked in a quick submission to pick up the victory. In the ring with Renee, the Learning Tree addresses the attack on Samoa Joe on Dynamite that happened on Dynamite when they drove a goddamn power ring with me. When they drove a forklift, drove Joe with a forklift through a wall, pretty much writing them off television. He says that he has even more lessons to be learned on the next Dynamite, and trust me, we'll get into those. Thunder Rosa defeats Rachel Ellering via submission, but her never-ending feud with Deonna Purrazzo must continue as the former Knockouts champion then attacks Rosa after the match. Please, for the love of God, give us a blow-off. And in the main event, it's Shane Taylor Promotions defeating Top Flight and Action Andrade as Taylor hits a big punch on Andrade. So let's stick with the AEW, but before we head back to WWE, we got to do it the right way, ladies and gentlemen. We got to give it to the Cap. It's time for him to get on that collision course.
Thank you, Moses. So let's get into Collision. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Dynamite Kid Tommy Billington with the T-Trigger. After the match, Don Callis offers Billington a spot in the Don Callis family. Billington shakes Callis' hand but tells him to kiss his ass. Callis then slaps him before Takeshita attacks, along with Kyle Fletcher, but FTR return and make the save. Bullet Club Gold's Juice Robinson and the Guns defeated Michael Allen, Richard Clark. After the match, Bullet Club Gold announced that Jay White was injured last week by Christian Cage, but they will continue on as AEW Trios Champions. Christopher Daniels comes out and says if a member of a championship team gets injured, they can't be replaced, and strips them of the Trios Championships. Christian Cage and the Patriarchy then suggest being crowned new champions, but Daniels announces a match between Bullet Club Gold and the Patriarchy for the vacant Trios titles next week. Backstage with House of Black, Malachi cryptically says that they will start paving a road to Wembley next week. Roderick Strong defeated Dalton Castle with a knee lift and will now face Mark Briscoe for the ROH Championship at Death Before Dishonor. Briscoe appears via satellite from home and addresses Strong and Blood and Guts. A video package for Hologram suggests the mystery superstar will debut next week. And backstage, Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway send another message to Willow Nightingale after costing her the Owen Hart Cup, and Chris says it'll never be over between them. Nyla Rose defeated Ava Lawless with a Beast Bomb. Top Flight defeated Lee Moriarty and Anthony Ogogo as Darius Martin hit Moriarty with an F5 variation, but Shane Taylor Promotions lay out Top Flight and Action Andretti after the match. Backstage, Thunder Rosa challenges Deonna Purrazzo to a lumberjack match next week on Collision, and maybe we can finally end this feud. Also backstage, Nyla Rose accepts Mercedes Monet's open challenge for the TBS Championship on Dynamite. Sky Blue defeated Harley Cameron with quite a viral new look by submission, and backstage after the match she challenges Hikaru Shida to a match next week. And in the main event, the Undisputed Kingdom defeated Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly as Taven hits O'Reilly with a spike pile driver. After the match, Trent goes after O'Reilly, but Orange Cassidy attacks him with a wrench. Now, if you're feeling thirsty, we're about to quench your thirst with Beer's NXT round.
As always, Mami is always on top as she opens Raw and immediately turns her attention to Liv Morgan as she has something that belongs to Rhea. And she isn't talking about Dominic. Rhea calls Liv out but gets Dominic instead. Dominic tries to apologize with a rose, but Rhea turns her back to him until Liv Morgan appears on the Tron and taunts Rhea further. Rhea then challenges her to a match at SummerSlam and vows to end her career. With new entrance music, Sheamus defeats Bronson Reed with a running knee. Reed tried to attack Sheamus after the match, but Pete Dunne cuts him off with a kick. Dunne then refuses to shake Sheamus's hand before attacking him from behind, allowing Reed to hit a big splash on Sheamus. Backstage, Zelina Vega shows no concern about Rhea Ripley returning and claims she should be champion now. Sonya Deville interrupts and we end up with a match set up for later on. Sonya Deville defeated Zelina Vega with Deville's advocate after some interference from Shayna Baszler. After the match, Deville, Baszler, and Zoe Stark attack Vega until Lyra Valkyrie, Kaden Carter, and Katana Chance make the save. In the ring, Damian Priest and Gunther come face to face as Gunther gets personal and makes fun of Priest and his upbringing. Before things turn physical, Braun Strowman interrupts for his match. Damian Priest defeated Braun Strowman with the South of Heaven before brawling with Gunther, and Priest stands tall. Backstage, Chad Gable walks in on Alpha Academy seemingly talking about him, but Maxine Dupree insists they're discussing helping Xavier Woods against the Final Testament. Gable then says he's going to call out Uncle Howdy. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark defeated Katana Chance and Kaden Carter as Stark lands the alley-oop knee on Chance. In the ring, Adam Pearce calls out Drew McIntyre and tells him he can have CM Punk at SummerSlam if he apologizes to the two referees he assaulted at Money in the Bank. McIntyre refuses. Pearce then tells him he's still suspended before Seth Rollins appears and drops McIntyre with a kick. Jey Uso defeated Dominic Mysterio with a spear and an Uso splash. But during the match, Liv Morgan showed up and ended on top of Dominic outside of the ring. Rhea Ripley immediately storms out as Liv runs as fast as she can through the crowd. In the ring, Chad Gable claims to have solved the mystery that Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas. As he calls Dallas out, the Creed brothers attack Dallas, who is laughing hysterically. Suddenly, the lights go out and the ring fills with smoke. The Wyatt Sicks arrive as Gable and the Creeds run away. In the main event, Sami Zayn's Intercontinental title defense against Ilya Dragunov ends in a no contest as Braun Breaker interrupts and attacks both men with spears.
What's good, everyone? This is Beer. This is your NXT review for July 16th, 2024. NXT kicks off with the reuniting of the Rascals. Wesley, Zachary Wentz, and Trey Miguel face the Gallus Boys. The Rascals win an absolute banger of a six-man tag team match 4 years since they last competed in the ring together. During the match, Vic Joseph said his name and he appeared. We get the one and only Joe Hendry on commentary at ringside, to the dismay of Booker T. So I'm not too sure what the Booker man's problem is, but, you know, it's not the last of Joe Hendry. But we had a recap of last week's show narrated by Joe Hendry, which I thought was fucking great. Roxanne Perez addressed the fans and said she wants to be treated with respect after winning against Lola Vice at Heatwave. She name drops two of WWE's new biggest signees, which are Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. Now, Julia reposted the tweet from WWE, and Stephanie Vaquer mentioned it on her Instagram. So, are we please seeing these two ladies soon? I cannot wait to see these two ladies, by the way. Thea Hill is going to be the next challenger for Roxanne Perez, and for me, that's going to be a banger match, by the way. And at 22 years of age, the fact that Roxanne Perez has been trusted against Jordan Grace, set to be trusted against Stephanie Vaquer and Julia, is showing how good this young lady is. And Roxanne Perez has come a long way since winning the breakout tournament back in 2021. Javon Evans faces Brooks Jensen in Brooks' first match since being reinstated. The massacre and chaos he's caused for weeks. The young OG picks up the win in a really fun match. At the end of the match, Brooks beats down Javon after the match, leads to Josh Briggs trying to calm down Brooks, but to no avail. The show finished at the end with Brooks challenging his former best friend to a no disqualification match next week. We've got the NXT champion All Ego Ethan Page defending the championship for the first time against Dante Chen. Now, this came around reasonably quickly with Ethan Page again avoiding Oro Menza. Oro has been after Ethan Page ever since he returned from the injury that he had sustained by Ethan Page when Noam Dar went down with injury. All Ego retains with the Ego's edge in a very good match, and it was definitely Dante's best match so far. At the end of the match, Oro again attacks Ethan Page, but Page turns the tables, leaves Oro on his back. Page tries to go backstage, but Oro again gets up and attacks Ethan Page. For me, Great American Bash. No ifs or buts. Gallus are backstage and angry about their loss to the Rascals, and to again be interrupted by Joe Hendry, and declared this: he might stay around for a while as he really likes it in NXT. Get Izzy Dane facing Tatum Paxley. This is a news flash. Tatum Paxley has won a match on fucking television with a Psycho Driver. We also get an appearance from Wendy Chu as well, so it's a possible alliance between these two very strange ladies. Later on in the night, Tatum is backstage, and she has a bit of an interaction with Kalani Jordan, the North American Women's Champion. It leads to the end, Tatum asking Kalani, can she play with dolls? Kalani said, we're a bit too grown up for that now. Leads to a doll that looks like Kalani Jordan. So have we got our match between Tatum and Kalani? Sign me up. We also then get the two new NXT stars, Cedric Alexander and Ashanti Adonis. And Ashanti is looking like a bit of a stud, and he might be causing a little bit of trouble already by trying to hit her off with Chikara Jackson and Lash Legend. Oro stops Chikara from you never know what. But Cedric Alexander, for me, one of the most underrated wrestlers I think I've seen on the roster. And Ashanti the Adonis now in NXT. I like that a lot. Keep it going. Lola Vice defeats JC Jane with an absolute brutal 305 fist. Gets jumped at the back end by Fallon Henley to then be assisted by Karen Petrovich and Sister Sol Ruka. That's a dangerous force. Sol, Lola, and Carmen. Damn. Following that, we get a match. Finally, hopefully this will be the end of the feud between the OTM and the OC. The never-ending war between Jada Parker and Mia Yim continues. OC pick up the win with a magic kill. That's a big win for the OC. We have early in the evening, we had Charlie Dempsey speaking to Tony D'Angelo after the recent kidnapping of Damon Kemp, but in reality, Damon Kemp has been released by the WWE. It's a bit sad, really, because I like Damon. I thought Damon was quite underrated. But apparently there was a witness to all this. And later on, it turned out to be Ren Sinclair. Now, we haven't seen much of Ren since she's been on NXT. However, heel Ren, for what I've seen in the past in previous promotions, heel Ren with a no-core catch crew, sign me up. I'm looking forward to that a lot. Then we get the main event. Sees Oba Femi defending the North American Championships against Chase U's Duke Hudson. Man, oh man, what an incredible main event. For me, Oba's too good, but Duke Hudson is an absolute stud. And trust me, he has got to get out of Chase U, and he's got to turn into a badass heel, get into the Boyle title picture, man. Duke Hudson's too good, man. Trust me. And at the end of the show, I might have already pointed out, main event for next week, we've been confirmed, is Brooks Jensen against Josh Briggs in a no disqualification match. For me, that's a match I'm looking forward to. I'm really intrigued to see what they're going to do with Brooks Jensen. They're going to turn into a bit of a killer heel. And for me, that's what I want. That's why I want to see the best of Brooks Jensen. People are giving a lot of shit on Twitter, but trust me, I'm a Brooks guy. Dude's 22 years of age. Give him time. Now, hang on. It's time. My sources are telling me it's time. What time is it, you ask? You know the time. Let's go to my man, the myth, the legend, El Jefe, with Last Night at Dynamite. El Jefe, take it away, partner.
Last night.
Yes. Thank God for the hour-long match. Made this entire thing feel a little bit better for me. But again, another really good episode of Dynamite. We start with the international title match on the Dynamite 250, MJF versus Will Ospreay. And this thing absolutely bangs, as I was talking about earlier. This felt like it had New Japan, but it also had a lot more sports entertainment to it. This was an absolutely excellent match, quite possibly MJF's best. And definitely Will Ospreay's best so far in America. My personal opinion, maybe yours is different. With about 4 or 5 seconds left in the 1 hour time limit, MJF collapses onto Will Ospreay to win the International Championship. And we probably might get a rematch at All In, which I want to say about 5-6 weeks out. So, eyes peeled on that one. Backstage, the Acclaimed and Swerve Strickland and Mark Briscoe have their sights on Blood and Guts. I love how Mark Briscoe is just trying to hype people up in the background all the time. It's the fucking best. The conglomeration. In the ring, again, and I cannot understand this fucking gimmick because 1 minute he's forklifting people, then he's got the fucking wizard, and now we're back to being the learning tree. So the learning tree is in the ring, and Jericho implored that bad things happen to people that don't listen. Before he's interrupted by the murder grandpa himself, the crowd even tries to sing his song. Suzuki smiles, which is never a good thing. He then holds a contract that simply says next week. Brian Keith reads it out and announces that he and Big Bill will be banned from ringside. Suzuki then drops Jericho, and we have a FTW title match set for next week. The Murder Grandpas in America, and you should be afraid. Backstage, the Elite are not worried about Team AEW as Mercedes Moné bumps into them and unfortunately speaks. Even they get excited over her dance. I don't know what the fuck is going on in this segment.
Okada wanted her to dance.
I don't know what's going on in this segment. Mercedes Moné then comes out for a TBS title match against Nyla Rose, and she wins with the statement maker. And then a fan in a Sting mask, because we love Sting, attacks her, and it is, of course, Britt Baker. Cannot wait for this one. Looks like it's going to be All In, and I kind of hope it's already going to be a quick title change, because you are literally making Britt Baker, or maybe it's just us loving her, but she looks like $1 billion.
Yeah, let us pop for Britt, please.
Please and thank you. In the ring, speaking of pops, oh my fucking God, bro. Mariah May cosplaying as timeless Toni Storm, which, by the way, talk about a stunt double, because you could barely tell a difference, and I do mean barely. She gloats about her actions. that she, the leaving Tony Storm in a pile of her own blood. She has her eyes on the prize at All In. There was one line, if I could change though, is she said that it's all elite is going to be now. It's going to be all about Mariah. She said she should have said it's all about May. Gotta love that fucking NSYNC tagline. It would have worked way better. But again, loving everything she's doing. Another hot anticipated match for All In. And then in the main event, Swerve Strickland, Kazuchika Okada. I was loving it until the DQ as the Young Bucks come down and attack Swerve. The rest of the Blood and Guts teams quickly flood to the ring as the brawl breaks out. Swerve stands tall before Hangman finally walks down, but they're pulled out of the ring before they can actually get to each other. Security break up the teams. Mini Sting Darby Allin descends from the rafters and joins the fight because, you can't have a Blood and Guts match without Darby Allin.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but yeah. Yeah, the DQ finish was very WWE.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it. You can't. You got to protect both of these guys, especially Swerve being the world champion. Okada has become kind of a special attraction. He doesn't wrestle that much, so I get it.
He's still one of the greatest wrestlers out there, but he is a hot commodity because beach.
When Darby dropped, I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't think he was going to drop in front of them because security, the Bucks, everybody were all huddled together. So I thought, shit, he's going to drop on top of him.
I thought exactly that too, or it was going to be one of the Sting things where he just like lands right in the middle and then looks up and like, oh my god.
Yeah, because you also see, I think it was Mark Briscoe look up like above them.
Oh yeah, Mark Briscoe's afraid of heights. He's like, what the fuck's up there?
Crazy man on a harness.
Daddy, is that you?
Both of these women's matches at All In are going to slap, and I am so hyped for them both. They're going to kill it. We are so lucky.
I said it last week, and I'll say it again, bro. The women's division in wrestling is starting to re-thrive, and the men need to watch that ass.
Yeah. Ah, man. Mariah May, like I said last week, is a star.
A fucking superstar, mate. A fucking superstar. Oh, my God. She's the best.
Actually, no, we got too much time. I was going to say, I kind of hope they keep Tony off of TV until All In, but yeah, you can't wait that long.
No, and so far their feud has been very, very good. Leaving them apart for a little bit has been awesome. I'm sure we're going to get maybe a week or two without Maria there. Or Mariah, I mean, without her there. Maybe we'll get Tony instead of her. Maybe Tony will try to cosplay as her, come out as the old Tony Storm, you know what I mean? And be like, you just copied me. I'm sure there's a lot we could do with this. I do mean a whole hell of a lot. And like I said, we got maybe 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks until All In. So we've got nothing but time to hype this up some more. And any more you hype it up, it's just going to blow it. It's just going to make it even that much bigger.
Yeah, I don't know if Mina Shirakawa is still involved. I don't know if she's still around, but I kind of hope she stays out of it and we keep it between these two. Just keep it personal between two fiery ladies.
Very fiery.
Same as Britt and Mercedes, two fiery ladies.
Well, again, we have one who's finally getting into a role that's actually fitting her in this company. And then the other one we've been dying for her fucking return for months on end. And she's here in great shape, ready to go. The women's division, again, is fucking on fire.
Oh, Britt looks amazing right now.
Tremendous. Adam Cole, you want to wrestle for?
I can see why he's not wrestling.
I
kind of had a thought last week, though, or week before, like how bad his ankle is if Britt was able to come back before him after a fucking mini stroke. And we still got no Adam Cole.
We're not talking about a shattered ankle here, fam. We're talking about stroke brain problems, okay? Brain problems.
Like, how bad is that ankle?
I don't know. I kind of want to. I kind of need to fucking. We got to do the Uncle Dave digging and see what Uncle Dave says. How bad is it? You know what I mean? Was it like just fucking shattered beyond repair? Is it there's ligament damage? Like how fucking bad can it really be? And if it's not as bad as we're anticipating, All In has to be the perfect spot for him to return. I mean, not return as in like, oh hey, I'm back because the motherfucker's been back, kind of, sort of, but I actually have a match.
I mean, he posted a picture this week of him in Ring of Honor with the world title, and just no context. But then we got Roddy going after Mark Briscoe for the title at Death Before Dishonor. So I don't know if Briscoe's going to win and Cole goes after him, or Cole turns face and goes after Roddy. I don't know.
The one thing I'm kind of seeing AEW do, or not AEW, what Tony Khan has done with the two companies is in the NBA out here in the United States, they have this thing called the G League, the Developmental League. As we know, in the Premier League, there's leagues below. You know, there's the Championship, there's the, you know, whatever, the U20, the youth leagues. There's a different assortment of developmentals. And I really, truly think that he's using Ring of Honor like a developmental system, even for rehab purposes. You know what I mean? You're hurt. You're just coming off a bad injury. Let's throw you into fucking Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? And you bring you back to snuff. And then all of a sudden, oh, cool, we could use you back on Dynamite like an Adam Cole. There you go. Perfect. Yeah. And if he were to somehow, some way, you know, finagle himself into Roddy's position and win, he'd be the only 4-time Ring of Honor World Champion. Yeah. So, I mean, again, maybe that's what they do.
I mean, let's think about it. His original plan was for Wardlow to win the AEW title and then give it to him.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean,
maybe his plan is for Roddy to win it and
it.
give it to him.
Right? You know, exactly. You know, it's the anticipation is high, but come on and let's do something with Adam Cole. God damn it.
It's Death Before Dishonor, I think, is just before All In.
Has to be.
Maybe the week before, because they got All Out the week after.
God damn.
We should pay a little bit more attention to Ring of Honor pay-per-views. Well, but they don't really get much hype.
I was just gonna say that was just the problem. They don't get a lot of hype, and then again, if you don't, July 26th. So actually, next weekend.
Next week. Okay, we're predicting Death Before Dishonor next week, I guess.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean but again, that's the downside. If you don't have whatever the Ring of Honor Honor Club. If you don't have Honor Club, you're really not able to watch Ring of Honor.
Yeah. I remember when they used to put like weekly Ring of Honor shows for free on their website.
Yeah.
Every week.
That was way
but so far there's 4 matches for Death Before Dishonor. Obviously Briscoe and Roderick Strong, Athena, forever champion, versus Queen Aminata, Billy Starks versus Red Velvet for the TV title, and Wheeler Yuta versus Lee Moriarty for the Pure title.
Ooh.
So already really a pretty good card.
Okay. All right, Ring of Honor. I see you real sneaky.
Speaking of sneaky, last week we saw Chris Reed's first promo as the new dual champion / new king of the mic. Now, the rules of the dual championship is anybody can call it the champion. If the champion doesn't respond within a week, they lose the title. So I think maybe Chris needs to take another look at last week's promo.
Chris Reed, I am officially calling you out. I'm not kidding, man. Get your ass out here. Daz, hit my boy's music. Chris, come on.
I had the balls that nobody else didn't have the balls. It happened. But it's up to me to make sure that it stays that way. So consider this a warning from me. You step up, you better bring your fucking A game. Because this championship is staying right where it is. And the only way that I'm going to give this up is when I decide that I don't want it anymore. And there is one guy I know that doesn't need a loophole to whip your ass.
Chris Reed, I may have taught you everything you know, but like I told you, you have more to learn because I have not taught you everything I know. That's right, Chris. I am the new dual champion. I know it wasn't made very clear to you, but the challenge was there. The challenge was made. It was the first words out of my mouth. Chris Reed, I officially call you out. Yes, I may not have said for this, and I may have bent the rules, but at this point, isn't that my specialty? Isn't that my signature? I did feel a little bad for you. I know I made it a little too vague. So all week, I have been posting. I have been hinting to you, Chris, that you need to respond. But you didn't. You never caught the hint. Therefore, I am the new dual champion. And to make things more clear about these rules, we are officially changing the rule to the dual championship. Starting after Promo Slam, the first Max Wrestling episode, the Thursday after Promo Slam. If you want a shot at this, all you have to do is say one line. I challenge you to a duel. You say that line and you immediately get a shot at this. All the other rules apply. All you got to do is just respond. But to get it started, I challenge you to a duel. So let it be known now. Yes, I may have been slick, but we've made it right. And Chris, I know you're upset that I stole your championship. But what was that final lesson of yours? Attention to detail? Go back and watch the promo last week, Chris. It was all there. I'm not going to spell it out for you like I've done all week anonymously on the Max page. I could not make it more clear. Every single other person in Max knows exactly where this is heading. At the beginning of it all, I told you you were not the mercenary no more. But by the end, you might finally become the mercenary that everyone will learn to fear. So I had to start from the basics with you and teach you the techniques to harness the craft of cutting promos. And you, sir, have done that. You won King of the Mic. You were the inaugural dual champion. But the only thing missing for you to evolve into the mercenary is that little bit of anger. You needed a purpose to unleash that ruthless aggression. And I know you're looking at me through that screen right now, angry that I have your championship. Last week, you said that we are the brothers of Max Destruction. Did you pay attention to what I said when you did that? You're not. We are not the brothers of Max Destruction yet. You have one final test. At Promo Slam, you get a rematch. You get another shot at the dual championship in a luck of the draw rules match. And it will be the Mercenary versus the Walker.
Travis, the Walker, Anderson.
Holy shit, the Walker's back.
Holy shit, indeed. The Walker is back. But as the coach, he had to teach his student a very, very brutal lesson. And now he is the new dual champion. Travis the Walker Anderson is back. We will now be defending against Chris Reed at our upcoming promo slam in a Luck of the Draws rule match. So what that means is, just like at Money Shot, the winning promo will be the closest time to whatever the random card is drawn. They will know prior till, and then we'll get it, I want to say, in a couple of weeks.
Yes. And Promo Slam is the next Max event, which is the real party of the summer. As we've been saying for years, we present the 9th annual Promo Slam on August 1st, featuring predictions for WWE's SummerSlam, plus that new dual title match, and all of this.
That's right. And speaking of all of this, one of the biggest battles of the summer is the captain in the battle of supremacy of Max Wrestling. He looks to take back control of Max as he challenges the throne for everybody's side to take down that masked bastard, Anos Mascaras, in the showdown to determine it all.
And don't forget, the loser leaves Max. I'm putting it all on the line for you guys. But Mike Larkin's first defense of the television championship will be no easy feat, as his challenger has become one of the top dogs in the promo game, the one we call Cypher.
Cannot wait for that one. Cypher's a lucky man to get that one. Speaking of championships, with a tough champion, the Knowledge Championship will be on the line in traditional Summer 3-Way, as the Phoenix looks to continue his winning streak in trivia in a Champions Showcase against both the new dual champion Travis the Walker Anderson and the current world champion Ted P. De Niro. Can Feeney continue to be the Knowledge Champion we know he is?
I think this may be the first time we've had 3 different champions in one match for one title.
Star-studded, baby.
But will Phoenix be the champion by the end of the night will Teddy be world champion by the end of the night, because Teddy P has his own challenger to worry about when Beer announced in advance that he is cashing in his Iron Bank contract and will challenge Ted P. De Niro for the World Championship at Promo Slam. Go get him, Beer.
Up the beer.
Go to maxwrestlingnet.weebly.com/promoslam for more information.
Right now.
Now, let's close up the show with everybody's favorite segment where we insult people, basically. This is the bell end board. Let's put some bell end points on the board.
Bell end number 1, number 2.
A bell end? You're a bell end, mate. Look, bell end 1, bell end 2, big veiny bell end over here.
Oh my goodness. All right. Do we want to start with him? I think we're going to start with him.
Yeah, he's the most obvious one.
I mean, okay, so I even want to say, I think it was like last week or a couple of weeks ago, Cornette has been just so damn quiet. And then I go back and I realize that he has not been quiet. So I want to say last week, Marco Stunt made his weird random return, just one-time debut, re-debut, if you will, whatever the fuck. Hopefully he's not back in AEW.
Cameo.
Thank you, cameo. I appreciate that one. He came in, had a one match with Jack Perry where he literally beat the shit out of him. Where the joke for the week was Jack Perry killed a young child. Just now hearing, honestly, Jim Cornette ripping totally into Marco Stunt. First off, I'm not surprised, but the way he did it, he called him a dwarfy dong sucker, which just already just makes me curious about what Cornette really truly is into. Talking about how, Jack Perry was whooping his ass, and then he kept on going with guys that he didn't like, talking about his old buddy Pockets, which, again, a guy who's putting on banger matches all the time, constantly hurt, a dude who is pretty much in charge. I wouldn't say in charge, but help running and keeping AEW alive for a little bit, being Orange Cassidy. So I got to give some respect to that shit. But dwarfy dong sucker. Jim Cornette is on a whole extra one for that shit. 10 points to the big JC. More are coming to you, big fam. I'm sure of it. There was a couple of other ones I had looked up or I had seen, and that honestly they're not that important. But what I do want to point out, because I remembered it from last, or I remembered it because it should have happened last week, but it's got to happen this week. And for right now, I need everybody to know this. Let's go ahead and we'll mark this down. This is the date to recognition. That's July 18th. Starting from this week going forward until Sportskeeda does something, they get a weekly 2 points. Because goddamn, I get duped every week into some bullshit that just scratches your brain and you kind of want to click it. And then I know better because I do this show and I don't want to click it. Stop putting that shit on the internet. Stop it.
I'm waiting for some article from Sportskeeda where they're like, WWE veteran has officially retired from the ring, and it's like somebody that's been dead for like 10 years.
Yes. Fucking hell.
So not many points to go around this week. 10 for Jim Cornette, puts him only on 15. We've been nice to Jim Cornette for some reason.
Probably haven't been trying. We've been probably ignoring him on purpose.
Yeah.
Either
change. That or Tony Khan's just been getting a lot of flack this year. He's on 63.
Yeah, TK's not. He's never been in the people's graces.
But really on the bright side, which I don't think we should give Eric Bischoff any more points for the rest of the year because he's on 83.
Oh yeah, I know.
83 weeks.
Perfect. About as long as you'll last, fam.
All right. I think I've got more points to dish out on the good side, so let's take a look at this week's Bruv board. So definitely more points go into Mariah May, because we gave her points last week because she murdered Tony Storm.
Yes.
This week, perfect cosplay, great heel promo, and I cannot wait for these two to clash it all in. So give another 10 points, to Mariah May.
It deserves all the points.
Yeah, you know what? We haven't spoke about it this week, but Stephanie Vacker.
Yes.
10 points just for being Stephanie Vacker.
She's awesome. She did show up in a little TikTok thingamajig where I'm like, oh damn, she's already fucking showing up to the people. Like she was already at a WWE house show. So it's like,
yeah,
and they put her to work real quick.
Isla Dawn she beat. Who of course is on SmackDown, but I think she's going straight to NXT for a little bit first.
Good.
Which is fine.
Good. NXT's hot as fuck right now. Plus with the tie with TNA, come on.
Yeah. She's had one match mainstream, and she's already one of the hottest commodities in women's wrestling. So definitely points to Stephanie Vacker. And some of those points are also
to have talent.
Yeah. Some of those points are also for making Damian Priest consider stuff.
Oh yeah. You made Damian Priest rethink some things of his life.
El Campeón. Hey. Who else gets points this week? 5 points to Minoru Suzuki because it's always good to see the murder grandpa.
Yes.
And I'm going to give 20 points to Jey Uso for dishing out those digits to Mami.
Tell her you say hi.
You shoot your shot, Jay.
And from the sounds of it, another one of the TikToks. Do you have Jimmy's number? Yeah. There it is.
I mean, of course, we do know he is actually married with kids, but it's still funny.
We know. Again, what have I said for years on this show about pro wrestling? You're allowed to extend your disbelief. So the character of Jimmy Uso is a nasty bastard who's trying to get in Rhea's cheeks, and hey, who can blame him?
If I can believe that the Undertaker is a reincarnated zombie, I can believe that Mommy wants Uso meat.
Hey.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, I think we're good. That's all the points we got for this week. So thank you for joining us. I hope we rocked you harder than Donald Trump's ear.
Hey.
Speaking of shooting your shot, before we close this up, let's find out what host Mo and the TSK have for you Pencil Neck Geeks with a roundup of Click This.
I swear to God, we need the drum set one time. Well, anyway, but no. So to talk about the TSK, I gotta be transparent. Copyrights blew me up. I tried to do something fancy with these 2 episodes. I got a chance to record a majority of the shows, and I kind of was using clips. My jackass did not turn off sound on a couple of them. So those are all going to be fixed, and they've been in the fixing process. So last week was supposed to be your doubled up week. You're going to get it this week. And as a bonus, to make up for everything, I will be communicating with the TSK, and maybe, just maybe, since Death Before Dishonor is coming right up on our ass, maybe we get a Death Before Dishonor review. I definitely want to get into one of those. And with SummerSlam happening, we have to be ballsy, as they say. We need to be brave. And it's time to go live. So August the 1st, I want to say. No, that's a Thursday.
That's us. That's Promo Slam.
Is it? So it would probably be the 3rd or the 4th. So that weekend of August. So SummerSlam weekend. Let's just go with that one. SummerSlam weekend. The TSK will be live with reactions. We will be live watching the show, a stream. What is they call it? A watch along, as the kids call it these days. We'll be hitting it up on the TikTok and on the YouTube. So make sure you're checking out the Max Wrestlings. And the best way to do that is hitting up all the fun socials. Make sure you're hitting up the Max Wrestling UK, Captain 512, SMR Podnet, the Max Footy Pod. Got to do the Max Footy Pod, which, by the way, that episode's going to be dropping this weekend, too. Like I said, the first episode coming back is going to be a solo one by me. And yes, I am talking both of the men's and women's United States national team. So again, if you're not super interested in national teams, I apologize. I'm going to bore you with the U.S. nonsensory. And I'm going to bore you for a little bit, but maybe this will bring you in. They're already talking about Garrett Southgate. So it's a questionable one, and you're definitely going to hear some rage on that one, as Beer always says. So this weekend is going to be a hot one. You got 2 TSK episodes dropping and a brand new episode of the Max Footy Pod. Make sure you're hitting up all the socials. And, of course, follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok. Hit up all of them. Facebook is the place to be. You can be an EVP. You can be an MVP. Go hit up the Facebook group. Join it and join in all the fun.
Is the USA team the same as England, where the women just overshadow the men?
Like a motherfucker. Like a motherfucker. And the one to know the best part about all this, the women's national team, you know what they did in November? They hired the most winning women's coach in all of Europe, the former head coach of the Chelsea Football Club. And she has come in, and this team looks like every top Premier League team in the game. But then they all, and Beer will get this one, they all finished like Timo Werner. Flip-flops.
All right, with that said, we will see you next week on our last stop before Promo Slam. What's going to happen on our Go Home show? We're going to leave you with some music now. Last week, you can find on our YouTube channel, I dropped a lyric video for the first song off my EP, Rise, which is coming tomorrow. It is called Paralyzed. It's over 300 views. Thank you very much. So here's another song from the EP. Before it drops tomorrow. And remember, it is not me singing, it is not me playing, but I did write and produce the songs. So, goodbye, and good night. Bang!
Welcome back. Produce your ass. Keep it down.
Let's play some music. What do you mean, no stairway?
All of these people screaming as one. All of these people reflecting on what they have done. Watching the world burn beneath their feet. silencing their screams. And time will not take away the faith that we make. Time will not take away the faith that we make. All of these faces you don't recognize. All of these faces are nothing but a disguise, hiding a machine that lies underneath. If you wanna live, come with me. And time will not take away the faith that we make. Time will not take away the faith that we make. It can't be bargained with, can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop ever till you are dead. And time will not take away the faith that we made. All these people screaming as one. All of these people reflecting on what they have done. Watching the world burn beneath their feet, silencing their screams. And time will not take away the faith that we make. Time will not take away the faith that we make. It's not in your head, so just run for